Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be as we start a new day in Dominion here from day one. So always, let's hit the mailbag and see what we've got since the last time you and I have been together. Seven Spears. Is that it? Okay. And two of the guildmates are sending us something nice and happy from Boogeyman and Trivial. Ooh, 3,000. That's got to be the top package, ain't it? Okay, second to top package, but it's still $131 spent. So you gotta give that boy credit. Alrighty, today's Ascension season ticket items. Let's see what we have to do there. And, well, I guess we already have one complete. Spend gold, so we still need to spend 185,000. Did a couple quick fights before we came on, by the way. 10 times in the guild dungeon without losing any heroes, but I didn't look to see what I had done. Spend 1,000 energy, that's complete. 3 more arena. Okay. Alright, so let's go down the mailbags list of tasks to do. And for all this. Alright, so we'll go down. Actually, I don't think we have the Sounds of Dominion turned on. Nope, we don't. That'll do plenty. Actually, let's go into special events first. Okay. Into the Depths also disappears tonight. The Revelation of the Space Guardian disappears. Both of them at Guild Reset. Oh. Well, the Guardian will get replaced by a simple 4-task doll event. Trying to remember after the Titanite one into the depth what's next on the common list. There's like a 5-task rotation that happens. So we check to see our spears. I'm going to pull up the wiki calendar. And we'll know here real quick. I guess it's going to take forever for us to see what we get on our spears. Because I clicked the button, and as you can see, nothing is happening. Say, come on, Nexters. Alright, the next one in is Energetic Warrior. So no one really gives a rat's care about that one. That's just basically burning energy to burn energy. So as the old saying goes, who really cares about that one? However, there is a debate on whether or not we will get the forecast tonight or tomorrow night, actually, and I didn't think there was really an argument over that, but I guess now there is. Come on, why won't you give me my Spears? And no, they're not Britney Spears or anything like that, but let me have my Spears. Okay, there they go. And we get 30 for Nova, 30 for Mari, 30 for Vulcan, Fireboy. You can make an appearance now, Vulcan. There you are. 30 more for Nova. 30 for the Earth Rock, Angus, who appears to be just a little bit on the shy side. There he is. 30 for Vulcan, once again, who must have thought that the day was over and went to hide. And there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 30s. Quite a decent pull. Super Titan would have made it even better, but when you pull 6, you can't really argue as much about it. That is a good pull. Alright, so everything is still perfectly able to be tasked. Because even if the format comes in, the only task that overlaps right now would be to spend energy anyway. So we can have a normal part 1 today, which is good. Alright, so there's our 3. Now let's go up to the airship lollipop. Okay, so we'll go up here next. Bleed out that from last night. Get our first of the 2 going for the day for that. If I remember right, it's going to take, what is it, 10 extra chest in the tower to be able to complete off a tower round in the task list. I'll check that here in just a second. Because if it's 10, it's not going to be worth doing. But if I only have to click, like, say, a couple chests, it might be questionable. Alright, defense. So, going through, yeah, another 1,700 emeralds, no. The energy is also going to be, looks like, a hard pass because it needs almost 3 grand for the next level. 7 chests, that's also going to be a hard probably pass. That's done. That's done. Even with doing a full 15 tower, it would take you 10 to only get $1. So that's also going to be virtually a hard pass. So just about the most we're going to get out of that is complete. Out of that event, that is. Oh, chime means there should be something trivial. Bought another second level package. Hey, we'll take them. Okay, I'm sorry. The chat bubble has just been annoying me. I've got to check. Okay. So we did complete that out last night, and there isn't going to be a new reset, of course, until the event is over. But as of now, 48.9. If you just let them go into dolls, would be 65 dolls. But of course, you can buy items in the blue level, being the rosaries at 2.5, Luthi staff at 5. Same for Prospero's helmet, Elven shield, and King Raven's cloak. Raven King's cloak. The only other blue that's more expensive is the lion armor at 1,000. Purple items including the funeral totem, and the glory, trader's crown, talisman, elephant guard, diviner's orb, book of prophecies, prophetic orb, staff of Marinus Nimbus, and the book of fate. Trying to make comparisons of value here. You need 2 of these to make 1 of these. Well, you need more than just 2, but these are the 2 main things to make 1 of those. And you need 2 of these to make 1 of those. Okay, the orange, of course, you get a Lamort's card, the Chronicles, the Alchemist set, the blue plate special, the Species staff, the Spear of Power, Oracle Sensor, All-Seeing Eye, Light of Distant Stars, Key to All Doors, and the Unity of Extremes. And there's 3 items, red items it is. Ikina's Dark Max, Anvari's Fortitude Support, and finally the Piercing Gaze. Doesn't look like I have any characters that actually need orange level items at the moment, which is a little bit of a surprise. Oh, something we'll have to take a look at. I might have to do a special Strike-In edition to reveal what I did decide to purchase with those couple points. Which also means it's time to start saving up keys again, because every time you think that you're not going to require a key mission, they throw one at us. So upgrade to hero skin. Upgraded. Artifact spears. They are up next. We'll take one black ball base. Titan artifacts are next. Yep. Gift of Ley Elements. Alrighty. Iris, you're up today. Celeste, you're up on Monday. Experience potions. Who's gonna get the, as the NASCAR would say, the lucky dog exemption? Dante, you can have it today. The non-heroic but so wants to be heroic but can't be heroic. Well, are you heroic? Just of the day? Eh. It ain't beyond bloody horrible, but it definitely wasn't peachy. Alright. Arachne has fallen out of favor with us, so let's give her a few levels today. That takes care of that. We can go to the top and collect. Should be probably getting close to level 100, I would think. Alright, take some potions. And 6 people needing it, and we only get enough right now for free. I can do that. The keys of portals. Nobody's got any. Let's get one. Alright, arena shop. 98 for Jam. Sorry, 98 for Jama. 89 for Maya. 96 and 56 respectively. Leon at full 100. 84, 99. Wait a minute. Marcus has been sitting able to be involved the whole time here. Where are you, boy? Where are you, Sir Marcus? Oh, that was in Vari. There you go. Enjoy your third star with regret. Let's go through everybody just to make sure there isn't anybody else I've missed that can be upgraded. Okay. Dark Star, Orion, Invari, Faceless, Kimau, Krista, Nebula, Isaac, if the game catches up with us. There we go. Lan. Give Lan her. Do that for a second. There we go. Daredevil. Zhu. Thea. Ishmael. Sebastian. Aurora. Kranos. Judge. Heidi. Heidi Ho. Mojo. Kai. Galahad. Dante. Astrid with Luca. Garth. Martha. Luther Vandross. Just kidding. Maya. Lilith. Arachne. Celeste. Iris. Kira. Astra. And finally Yasmin. Alright. So now we have the boys and girls that make up the neighborhood. Alrighty, so that gets that taken care of. Alrighty, so I guess, well, let's hit the airship first so we can set our next one. Then we'll hit the tower. Alright, come on, Nexters. You're only about a third loaded. There it goes. Starting to go. And that was the same thing. It was just to load into the splash screen to select. Kind of like a PlayStation 1 title. Or, for those even older, a ZX Spectrum cartridge game. Not a cartridge game, but a tape-based game. But a specky. Yeah, I know. That's a shout out from my UK watchers. The UK peeps. Because people in America are going, what the hell is a specky? Yeah, it's really interesting when you start getting back into the past of technology. Of course, nowadays we have always on solid state drives, even cloud gaming. Prior to that, of course, you would have a lot of DVD and then CD based games. Prior to that, a lot of cartridge based games for like your Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Mega Drives, those kind of consoles. But when you go away from a console into a computer, you got down to a situation that most data pre-hard drive, CD, DVD, and cloud-based came either on a floppy disk or a cassette tape, where they just encode a data stream that the computer would then read back as the program data that it needed to build a particular game. And the Specky, the ZX Spectrum, which was Alan Sugar's way of trying to get a very low cost, I must also admit, usually pretty low frills, technology wise, computer into the homes of as many folks as possible. Alright, I think we'll go from here without trying to grab anything else. Everybody's got something. That the weird thing is, normally, if you'd go and write a program, whether you C++, back in the days of BASIC, whatever, to fill the screen with, say, characters or graphics or whatever, it would start at the top left and work its way down to the bottom right. Not so on a Specky. It would work on maybe about the top third of the screen, interlacing at about every 50 to 60 pixels. So if you wrote a program to fill from top for the whole screen, it basically interlace the first third until it totally had drawn it, then work on the middle third, and then work on the bottom third. Only once all three thirds were drawn, then it would load in the color attributes to it to actually give that drawing color. And note, as I'm chuckling there with color is a subjective thing when it comes to the spectrum or specky. As most early computers, usually you had a most maybe 4 colors if you were lucky that you could have per cell or per area. You weren't like today where you could have hundreds, millions, trillions of colors to work with. loaded a game on cassette on a Spectrum, you basically had to first of all type in the command to get the computer to start loading from cassette first of all. Once that started, the computer's borders would start flashing to let you know that something's actually happening. That would be basically about your only hint that something was indeed occurring. Until, of course, the game's graphics title screen would start loading. Then that would load, and that would take probably on the ballpark of anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes to complete. And of course, that did absolutely nothing other than announce the game and give you something pretty to look at. And again, pretty is again a very subjective term, while everything else actually loaded the program. And a cassette was very sequentially based data, which means it would be good, say, if you had like a 48K or 64K system, you could use that cassette to load in the 48 or 64 kilobytes of program data into whatever machine you were using. But you couldn't really go back to it to get another part of the game, so to speak, and then come back to, say, a previous part of the game. It really wasn't built for that. Because everything had to be accessed sequentially. A, then B, then C, then D, then E, then F. Yes, we get the sounds of Dominion instead of a fight. Second here, let me get the screen orientation fixed again. Alright, let's try to resume the tower. And that's where floppy disk had a huge improvement over cassette-based titles. Because I could have a game that was a lot bigger than the computer's, say, 32, 48, or 64 kilobytes of RAM that the machine only had. Because I could, as a programmer in my mind, break the game into segments. Okay, for this beginning part of the game, I'll need to load this, say, 32 kilobytes of data in. But once the player passes this, and this is no longer needed. So now I can go and load in this and this. I could go back to the disk to tell it to load in those new items and overwrite the previous parts in that computer's local memory. And if that would fail, load to the next, load to the next. And if the guy ever died, so the game had to restart, it could always tell the disk drive to go access the first part of the program file again to load back in the basic part of the game. Something you really couldn't pull off on a cassette-based medium. Even though there was one really, really old piece of tech that tried. And the system that really tried to do this was actually quite interesting. Extremely for its time, mind you. Known as the Arcadia Starpath Supercharger. Try saying that 3 times fast. Of course, released by... No, Jake's. No, of course, Arcadia. It was actually a cassette analog peripheral that could be used for, get this, your Atari 2600. Yeah, I got a lot of kids going, wait, for what? The Atari 2600, otherwise known as the VCS, came out in 1976. This bad boy, compared to everything, was woefully underpowered. It had to steal programming data time frame from drawing the screen just to run game code and a lot of, especially even early and even mid VCS software. If you ever do go back to look for an Atari 2600 game, and you see kind of like, it looks like a black kind of like comb pattern down the left-hand side, no, your game's not malfunctioning. The system ain't malfunctioning. That's just the system's programming stealing some of the graphic time to run game code. And they couldn't run both. You either ran code to run the game, or you ran code to draw to the screen. Those places where you have those little black interface kind of like comb deals on the left-hand side was where the machine was stealing code to run game code instead of drawing. Now, some games were quite smart about it, able to hide it a lot better than others. Other games, not so much, and that's how we got to know it, because you could easily pronounceably see it. It also did not help that the Atari 2600 came stocked with less than 1 kilobyte of onboard RAM. Yeah, you heard me right. Less than 1 kilobyte. Which means less than 1,024 bytes. That means you'd run out of memory by the time you probably ended up composing a tweet. If you were lucky. If you're unlucky, you ran out way before you finished composing that tweet. But it was almost the... Well, I won't say the absolute first, because there was the Fairchild Channel F, the Magnavox Odyssey, but those were really, really scraping the idea of a game console. The first, mostly people would consider commercially successful games consoles. The Arcadia provided more than anything, is it provided 6 kilobytes of RAM. To be used by the Atari VCS. In addition to being able to load games from cassette. Now, you might not think 6 kilobytes would do a lot for something like the Atari 2600 VCS. But when everybody else was having to work games into less than 1 kilobyte, 6 was by all means a freaking godsend. Allowing for the Arcadia StarPath supercharger to actually produce way better looking and working, for that matter, games. Now, note, I'm not trying to disparage on anybody who programmed in the VCS era. There were great games done by great companies, Activision and Magic. No, I'm not giving you credit, Parker Brothers. I'm not considering you to make great games. You make, passable games. But Arcadia's games definitely looked a lot better. For lots that usually played a lot better. You might go, so is this just an opinion? And I love to say, no, it's not. I have to be truthful. The base point that we can make at occasions about Arcadia's titles are not as robust as I would like due to the fact of when they came out with the system. Well, this device. And it unfortunately was towards the very end of the first classic age of video games. In the North American market, that is. The video game crash of 83, 84 was very, very much looming on the horizon. And as the first such, the Arcadia StarPath only got about 11 to 12 games out the door before that video game market crash hit. But there is one game we can definitely point to and make a fair, straight, across the board comparison. Well, we can most definitely say here is with and here is without this device. Now I know you gotta be saying, wait, what? How do we have a straight across the board comparison? Are you trying to say a game and something that plays similar? No, I mean that the same exact game got coded for the Atari 2600 VCS twice. Once by one company and once by Arcadia. On top of it, it's an arcade title. So we definitely have an arcade console we can compare to as to what it should be. Now, of course, remember any late 70s, very early 80s, home consoles are not going to be able to produce a perfect representation of any arcade game. But at least we have a basis to know what it should be. Excuse me. Okay, I guess an elephant's coming. Combined with a basis of what with and without the device can create for the console. for that particular game. The game in question is Frogger. And yes, for those of you who are going, wait, what? Remember back to Seinfeld in the 90s, George Costanza trying to get a arcade cabinet that was going to be shut off and removed out of, I think it was like a delicatessen or what, and try to keep it on his own. I remember he had to keep it powered the whole time to do so because the high score table would blank if it was turned off. That's the game in question. And the game is Frogger. That one. Okay? So, with an arcade title from Konami, yes, the guys who now only really, for the most part, make slot machines. We actually have a basis to compare the games. Alright, 10 times in guild done. Oh, that was complaint. And I doubt I get the gold ticket for this season, but if you do the tasks that are underneath that fourth target, if you ever do get it, you'll get those credits retroactively. Alright, let's collect our credits. We could try a 2-3. Actually, let's do a 3-2. Okay. Alright, remember it's the first to win 2 out of 3 fights. You do not have to win them all. So with that being said, sounds of Dominion bring us the Grand Arena. As soon as Nexus gets around to loading it in. Well, someday, hopefully soon, Nexus will let us fight. Alright, there we go, round 1. And all the maybe? There we go. really delayed sound effects. But round one is a total and utter failure. Which is fine, because remember, you only need to win 2 out of 3. You do not have to win them all. So with that, let's go to round two. But it is a must-win fight. To remain in the hunt for the Red October. Not looking great so far. Maybe we did not make the right call here. Fighting it now on. It's all up to you, my dear. Yes! Way to go, Yasmin. And she brings the fight level pegging 1-all. Okay, I guess again the delay sounds for the final fight. And that fight was really easy. That one will take the win. Again, whenever it decides to update. Alrighty. Your ties shall be increased. Alrighty, 260. Let's take the easy one. Or what should be an easy one. No, and I say that now, watch me get my, keister handed to me. And to finish on my previous thought, the Arcadia's version of Frogger was superior in every way. Now, however, one question you might be asking is how could whoever made the cartridge version of the game ever let that happen? Because especially with it being an arcade title, somebody would have had to have paid licensing fees to Konami to be able to make home versions of Frogger, you would think. And to that, you would be right. In this situation, however, that company was the aforementioned Parker Brothers, who probably best could be summed up making their games as meh. Games are average on nil. I have a feeling they probably tried to run everything on a shoestring budget. Boys after my own heart, at least in that regard. The problem is they had only secured the rights to make cartridge-based versions of Frogger. So when Arcadia came, they were able to get magnetic tape media, aka cassette. Yes, companies were actually able to license those separately. If I was a games company, I had to make sure, no, that is not a separate thing, but was, which allowed Arcadia to go in and make a separate copy, a separate version. That, as Paul Harvey would used to say back before he passed, would be the rest of the story. So with that, we'll bring part 1 to a close. Of course, we'll have part 2 and part 3 in the overnight. Make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals of 5,000 viewers, 1,000 subscribers, so boxing nexters and YouTube will pay attention. Until we do meet again, it's a great new world to release the Krakens. Like one another, be kind to one another, because again, in the world, in the end, it's all we have. And we'll see each other for the next episode here from day one. Have a great morning or afternoon.